Hey everyone, welcome to Metalworking Tutorials. This is going to be our first video for this channel. Today we're going to be building a little blacksmith forge and making some knives. So in this video we're going to make the forge, go over some techniques, so I'll do some other little mini projects that we'll work in and go from there. Basically the goal of this channel is to show you guys how to make things out of metal, do all kinds of cool projects, and essentially set up your own shop so that you can make money off of it and build it up to a point where you actually have a decent business. Okay, so let's get going on this forge. Okay, so I got a bunch of fire brick from an old kiln that I salvaged. This is high insulation fire brick. You want to make sure you get insulating kind, not the kind that's used in fire stoves, like a wood stove to distribute the heat. And got a decent amount of it. We should be able to make a nice little forge. We're going to be using angle iron for the base and welding up a frame. Shouldn't need to use any fire cement for holding it together. It's going to be powered by propane. Just going to have a small 20-pound propane tank, and it should be pretty efficient. Now this is going to be kind of a small, compact little knife forge, and these fire bricks are very soft, so you can cut them with a hacksaw blade. I'm just going to get this cut. These pieces here are going to be the sidewall. Now another method is to squirt and then break it, or just have it fall apart on its own. But we just cut it through so that we have a nice clean edge, so everything will fit together nicely. Okay, so it's starting to come together. We got the sides cut out. We just need to make a front back plate. This is going to be the back. We're going to carve a little notch out of here so that longer pieces can slide through. That way you can heat up things bigger than the forge itself. So trying to figure out how I'm going to do this without splitting this apart. Probably the easiest would be to cut a V-shaped notch out of it and then slowly file away with this wood rasp, since this is soft stuff. Okay. Okay, so we got a V-shaped notch cut out of it now, and file away with the wood rasp. Okay, so we got a nice little arch cut out of there. And that'll sit right in the back. And once we get all the pieces cut, then we're going to be welding on just random scrap pieces to form a little cage around it. Okay, so we got our front cut out. Got the entrance, the notches. Slides down in there nicely. And then our top piece sits on like that. So that should be a really nice little forge. Should get really hot in there. We're going to cut a hole in the top and make the actual forge burner. They're really simple. You basically just need a tube and a propane nozzle to inject the fuel in. And you can get it more complicated and put a fan on if you want higher temperatures, but this is just going to be a simple direct air version. Okay, so we got the box set up. Drilled a hole in this top piece here using a small drill, and then I just reamed it out by hand using a 15/16 inch drill. And going to be using a 1-inch stainless tube for the actual forge burner, which fits down in this hole. What we'll do is take these two little pieces of scrap stainless and just position them there. Put a tack weld on each one so that it actually gets held in place. But right now we're going to shape this. We're going to put a flare on the front of it so that air can enter it more easily. So we're going to go over to the arbor press and do that. Okay, so we have the arbor press here. Normally I would press a flare into a piece of tube with this little flaring mandrel I have here. And we have a piece of stainless tube, and that would expand out real nicely. Unfortunately, this is a little bit too long, and I don't really feel like cutting it an inch shorter to do it the right way. So we're just going to do it by hand. Pretty experienced at doing this, so it should come out decently. Important thing is to just keep the tube pressed very tightly against whatever surface you're pounding on, because if it wobbles around, then you're going to bend it and then it's going to start deforming. So. See, we're starting to get a nice little flare going. Just want to check it periodically and rotate it to make sure that it's flaring evenly. Okay, that should be pretty good for our purposes. That will allow air to flow into that tube a lot more easily. We'll get a nice hot flame. Okay, we got everything set up. We're just going to put two very minimalistic tack welds on this piece to hold everything together. We're going to be using the MIG welder. In future episodes we'll actually show you how to weld and all that, but right now we're just going to start off with the forge making and show you guys how to do basic metal forming. So should be good to go. So quick test. Okay, so it's just lightly tacked on there now, just enough to hold it in place, and we'll still be able to remove it to adjust or replace it. So it'll sit on top of here like this, and now we can start welding the angle iron frame around it to hold everything together. Okay, so we got the forge here. Cut all the pieces up and welded it up. Didn't really feel like doing it on camera because it was kind of tedious work, and plus I don't think the camera pointing at the MIG welder without a protective lens would be too good for it. But got a little shelf here so we can have the handles sticking out a little bit farther and not have to worry about them tipping over. That goes in there. We'll hold out the back. And then we have a convenient handle system up here, and this tube spins around and you can either take it out or lock it into place. And we're going to make the gas injection system now and just have the tube go up and point down. Get that all set up, and then we'll be doing some forging momentarily. Okay, so we welded on the gas tube. It's just a very, very simple Venturi setup. Works pretty effectively. This is on low. Let's crank this up on high quick. Right now we're just doing a couple pieces at a time and playing around, so we don't need it on high, but so it's pretty effective for how primitive and quick and easy it was to build. Gets real nice and hot on the inside, nice even heat. It's too bright to even really see in there. Maybe we can clear shot with it zoomed in. Okay, so let's set this up on the tripod and get some forging going. forge really has no problem getting it nice and hot even on low heat.